Today on First Look, we enter the halls of Northern Secondary School, where one student's resilience had inspired one of Charles' top high school football programs. To the naked eye, Rashaun Hill looks like your average high school student, but at Northern, he's much more than that. Rashaun is an offensive lineman on Coach Domenico's Red Knights, who won the City of Toronto Championships just in the fall. But this is only where Rashaun's story begins. We have to backtrack 6 months from that glorious day at Bridgetown Stadium. On April 8th, 2011, Rashaun Hill's life changed forever. Rashaun was struck by a car while crossing the intersection of Mount Pleasant and Eglinton. He suffered a compound fracture to his right leg, breaking his tibia and fibula, requiring an external fixator to keep the bone in place. He required over 8 months of treatment, ending his football season before it had begun. Before I could interview Rashaun about his injury and how it had affected his life, I need to gain further understanding of his background.
So my mom, my dad, my brother. Mom's probably one of the nicest people would probably meet. Dad's a pretty strict guy. Tries to get me focused on football and working out and stuff. My brother is just basically a brick that just gets on your head, but like, gotta love him.
They obviously support you quite well, and we're just walking through the halls right now. Does this have like any sort of meaning to you? No specific sort of theme or whatever, but just eat lunch right here. So like, you obviously like Northern a lot. You just speak to me about that.
Brought me to a better school that I was gonna go to. I was considering going to another school, and I was like, they don't have a football program, so I was like, let me just go to Northern because it's probably one of the better schools in Toronto for that.
So you met your friends in elementary school, and how'd you meet them?
Basically, a lot of times it was in the same class. Like, I was about it, either the same class or like during recess back in the day, or like when we went down to middle school, it was like you knew them because you went to other schools and you just met up with them and you met them through groups.
Yep. Later that day, I interviewed Rashaun on how football plays a role in his life. So, you're a child raised from a well-balanced family, mother, father, brother, yet your first thoughts when you were hit was about football. Does that speak to the level of dedication you give to the game?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. It's kind of like football is what we have, and like outside of school, I don't really chill with friends, that's about it.
Okay, so you mentioned obviously friends, and you come from a tight-knit group of friends, obviously from elementary school. And how has your peers helped you get through tough times?
Basically, like the best support I have. Told a few of them what was going to happen because my doctor told me to put a rod straight through my leg, and it's like I might never be football again. So like, I told a few friends that, and then there should be some other solution.
I sat down with Coach Domenico to get his perspective on Rashaun's influence on the team.
Well, I really think that, he showed up almost every day, tried to be part of the team, made an attempt to come back, but, it just wasn't going to happen. The nature of his injuries were so severe that it was going to take a long time just to rehabilitate. But I certainly think that he set a good example for people that, that even though he was injured, he still wanted to be part of the team. He still tried to help out in any way he can. And certainly I think he certainly, I think he inspired some people. It certainly inspired me because, like I said, it wasn't like he just had to roll out of Northern and go onto the field every day. We had to walk over to Eglinton Park, so that was a pain and a half too. I mean, and for him to have to, certainly in the beginning when his leg was still, wasn't that great. I mean, that was. Every now I'm sure he got rides, but sometimes he still had to walk, and that was tough sledding. So, I give him all the credit in the world for making that attempt. And like I said, he wanted to be part of the team, and in my mind, he was always part of the team.
To gain insight on how Rashaun felt of the team support, we need to speak once again. I talked to Coach Domenico and a number of players on the team. They homogeneously feel that your absence on the field was very noticeable this year. That your influence among the players had increased. How does this make you feel knowing that although your presence on the field wasn't literal, it still affected the players, even though you're on the sideline training?
The greatest thing of all, my absence was the best. We had guys step up that played defense, looked like a defensive base guy. Basically, I'm talking was to I came from me down the right down. Start the season off because basically I was missing and there was a big hole.
I talked to Northern social worker Dale Callender, who has gained the trust of students at Northern. In a short time together, we discussed Rashaun's love for football and the emotions he felt due to his injury.
I think it's important not to be naive to the fact that I think it was probably very devastating for him, because it changes the whole concept or perspective you have as a person, especially as an athlete, part of a team, from an individual point of view. What does this mean to me? But also from a group, I'm going to miss that sort of daily contact and daily sort of competitiveness. So I think absolutely made him having to shift totally where he was at that point. And unfortunately, it wasn't something that was planned out. It was something that happened so suddenly, so it was yanked away. So I think that's the difference between, hey, something I know that's coming, besides something dramatically shifted immediately. And I think, and I would imagine he may still even have some difficulties trying to manage those feelings.
If he showed certainly the progress that he made 2 years ago when he was playing, and there's no reason to think that he's not going to, given the fact that he's going to be bigger and hopefully stronger when he comes into school next year. He should be a great addition to the offensive line that we were really counting on this year, but it just didn't happen, and that's the way it is.
Today, Rashaun is now fully recovered and plans to stay enrolled at Northern for another year, so he can enter the change room he loves once more. First look, I'm Andrew Milov.